Welcome to Coin Retrospectives, short histories of old coins. And here we have the peace dollar, minted from 1921 to 1928, again from 1934 to 1935, supposedly again in 1964, and as a modern anniversary coin from 2021 and onwards. Designed by Anthony de Francisci in 1920, the obverse features a portrait of Lady Liberty intended to evoke the thought of the Statue of Liberty, portrayed here by the designer's wife, Teresa de Francisci. The reverse features a perched bald eagle on a summit atop the word peace. The story of the peace dollar begins during the First World War. The German government began to spread rumors that the British government did not have enough silver to redeem all of the banknotes it had printed. This led to the hoarding of silver and thus risked damaging the British war effort. So in 1918, Britain asked the United States to purchase its silver and therefore stabilize the supply. Congress passed the Pittman Act in that year, selling 270 million melted down silver dollars to the British. But more importantly to our tale, was required by the act to strike new silver dollars to replace those coins. A numismatist by the name of Franz Zerb penned a paper which was read out to the American Numismatist Association at their convention in Chicago in 1920, calling for a new design to celebrate the end of the war in 1919. In accordance with the Pittman Act, Morgan dollars began striking again on 9th of May 1921, but a bill authorizing the striking of the peace dollar was introduced that very same day. It didn't pass. One James Mann of Illinois had objected, but by November it was realized that congressional approval was not necessary. As the Morgan dollar had been struck for more than 25 years, it could be replaced at the discretion of the Secretary of the Treasury. A design competition was opened, and De Francisci was the winner, receiving $1,500 for his efforts. However, his design was not without controversy. His reverse design was originally to feature a broken sword to symbolize peace, but nearly everyone who saw it had other ideas. The 21st of December 1921 saw the New York Herald write a scathing editorial against this design. A new silver dollar intended to be symbolic of the era of peace is about to be minted by the government. This is a good idea, but many Americans must read with regret that the designer, in his effort to picture the idea behind the Washington Arms Conference, represents the American eagle as standing on a broken sword. If the artist had sheathed the blade or blunted it, there could be no objection. Sheathing is symbolic of peace. The blunted sword implies mercy, but a broken sword carries with it only unpleasant associations. A sword is broken when its owner has disgraced himself. It is broken when a battle is lost, and breaking is the alternative of surrendering. A sword is broken when the man who wears it can no longer render allegiance to his sovereign. Thus, the sword was removed, and the peace dollar as we know it came to be. Between 1929 and 1933, the peace dollar was not minted due to the exhaustion of the silver purchased from the Pittman Act. However, in 1934, another congressional act required the mint to purchase large amounts of domestic silver, so the peace dollar was revived for another 2 years. Most of the peace dollars struck circulated in the western United States, where hard money was preferred over paper money, but as of 1936 there was no commercial demand for new silver dollars, none were struck, and the dies were ordered destroyed. Enter 1964. Silver was being hoarded due to a large price spike, and the silver dollar was worth more than $1 in bullion alone. The 3rd of August of 1964 saw another piece of legislation authorizing the striking of 45 million silver dollars. However, this was met with severe opposition. It was believed that striking new dollars would do absolutely nothing to solve the hoarding issue, as they would be immediately gobbled up by collectors. When the new coins were announced, coin dealers didn't disappoint by offering up to $7.50 per coin. One hastily called congressional hearing later, the coins were rebranded as trial strikes not meant for circulation. 316,076 silver 1964 D peace dollars were struck, all reported destroyed amidst heavy security. To prevent this mistake happening again, Congress inserted a provision in the new Coinage Act of 1965 forbidding the striking of new silver dollars for at least 5 years. This act also allowed for base metal dimes and quarters, making 1965 the first year that of all of the US coinage, only the Kennedy half dollar would have silver, and only 40% at that. The new base metal coins became known as Johnson sandwiches for their copper interiors and nickel exteriors. In 2021, peace dollars struck again, or were struck again, I should say. Minted to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the striking of the original peace dollar, the coin features a 99.9% silver composition and is a little too expensive for me to have bought one yet. The original peace dollar is 90% silver and 10% copper, with the mint mark to the left of the eagle on the reverse. Few key dates exist for the series if you don't count the destroyed 1964D ones, with the high relief 1921p and 1922p, and the regular strike 1928p being the only ones to watch out for. Most dates are easily obtainable at right around the $40 to $50 price range for circulated examples. And that about wraps it up for the peace dollar. I'd sure appreciate it if you considered subscribing. And if you have questions, comments, concerns, hate mail, etc., you know what to do. Leave your 2 cents in the comments, and have a great day.